100X Club, we have got a really special episode today, a break from our regular programming. If you've been listening to 100X for more than like 5 minutes, you've heard me talk about the fact that crypto gaming is fighting an uphill battle on two fronts. We're not just fighting one enemy, we're fighting two. We're not just trying to prove to regular gamers that blockchain could make gaming better. We also need to convince crypto that gaming is a legitimate sector worth looking at, not just a 2021 Ponzi minefield. If you've spent any amount of time in any sector in crypto besides gaming, you know that at best, they look at us through a very skeptical lens. They don't love us yet. They're not convinced, which is one of the reasons that I am so bullish on this space. We don't want to chase narratives. We want to plant ourselves before they go public. So we're bringing on a legendary special guest to talk about two things. One, why general crypto should take another look at gaming as a place worth investing in. And two, what parts of gaming, what games, what narratives, what genres, etc., look interesting to someone in crypto versus someone in crypto gaming, because we might have different perspectives. With that said, our guest today is Jesse Eckel, host of the 1 to 1 Million podcast, crypto YouTuber, researcher, investor, one of the most reputable names in DeFi, my source for too many things that I've invested in, of course, my brother. Jesse, thanks for joining, dude. Welcome back. It's been a long time since you've been on 100X.
Thank you. It has been so long since I've been on 100X. It is great to be with Caesar and Matthew, the magical duo, again, to dive into one of my favorite narratives of all time, crypto gaming.
Okay, dude, let's kick it off. You are diversified across a ton of different sectors in crypto. Give me your case specifically for why you are investing in crypto gaming. Before we dig into everything this episode has to offer, we want to highlight the awesome partners who sponsor this podcast and make it possible for us to work full-time on 100X. They're legends, and we appreciate them for supporting us. What if I told you that Magic the Gathering's founder, Richard Garfield, and veteran game designer, Justin Gary, teamed up to create a TCG where every deck can be an NFT? I'd say crypto gaming is going to make it. That game is here, and it's called SoulForge Fusion, and I am addicted with over 50 hours logged so far. You collect half decks and fuse them together to create one-of-one decks and battle your friends, play solo campaigns, and craft the lore of the endgame universe. It's free to play on Steam right now, and there's a huge airdrop that you might already be eligible for. Check the links below to get started. Let me tell you about our friends at Games.gg. And when I say friends, I really do mean that they are friends of 100X. Their CEO, Omar, was one of my first introductions to Web3 gaming, and we're OG holders of their Gamers Lobby collection. We love these guys. They're essentially the super app of Web3 gaming. One of the cool things they've cooked up is a gaming quest system. You complete free quests for cool games, anything from retweeting a post to beating a mission in a new game, and then you get rewards, tokens, skins, whitelist access, all kinds of things. Go explore everything awesome they've crafted just for you at Games.gg right now.
Okay, my case specifically for why I'm doing crypto gaming is because I like to front run narratives. I like to jump into things that are not consensus when I think in the future they will be consensus. So for example, right now, AI, massively consensus. Everyone piles into every little AI trade possible. So you can have the stupidest single AI idea ever. And if you get enough like eyeballs on it, that thing goes to like 500 million, a billion market cap. And so a lot of AI trades are already massively priced out as far as gains go. And they actually carry a high amount of risk because there's a ton of rotation that happens in these AI trades as the narrative shift. Where gaming is widely not paid attention to. In fact, it's completely non-consensus. If you go to talk to anyone in the crypto space about crypto gaming, they kind of are either apathetic towards it or they have like a vile hatred towards it. I have yet to come across anyone that's not true. There's some people, but as a vast majority, yet to come across anyone who loves crypto gaming. The vast majority do not like it, do not believe it, and they have all these arguments and reasons as to why they know it's for a fact it is going to fail. And if you want to succeed in investing in general, you want to go to places that are hated and ignored, and that is crypto gaming right now. And there are so many amazing opportunities and projects and gems sitting in the crypto gaming market that are just pennies on the dollar. And that's why I love crypto gaming, because I know even though it's non-consensus today, I think it's going to be massive in the future. Not only do I think it's going to be massive, I think we're going to onboard more people into crypto via gaming than any other sector out there. More than AI, more than DeFi, more people will come into crypto and touch crypto via gaming than anything else. I have like a deep belief of that.
Massive. like the ninja meme. I was going to say, you know what else is massive, but then I realized we might take the conversation in a different direction if you didn't know the meme. So, I mean, the biggest part of your thesis is, hey, I just want to buy what people hate because it'll make sense.
No, not just what people hate. Like people hate a lot of stuff that's worthy of hating. It's just something that's,
well, that was my point.
good.
So, so things that they hate, that maybe they hate it because they've got an emotional reaction to it. Maybe they hate it because they were burned by it a few years ago. Maybe they hate it because they don't see the value yet. As far as like, okay, so piece number one, they hate it. Piece number two, it has to be worthy of redeeming itself and turning around that hate. So what about gaming specifically? Like you say, oh, this is you're all day in the trenches of DeFi. Okay, so you just said that you think that gaming will onboard more users than DeFi. Why specifically? Like, what about gaming is worth paying attention to, even though people hate it?
Okay, for one, it's very similar to crypto. Okay, so there's a season always where crypto is hated and ignored by the wider masses, right? And in the same way, but it's coming back, right? So it's hated, ignored, but it's coming back. If during that season you get into crypto, you have the most upside potential physically possible. Okay, and at peak bull market mania, which was what maybe a lot of these hotter sectors, that's more of the equivalent. There's a lot less upside potential because a lot of that's already been priced in. But as far as like what makes me specifically bullish on crypto gaming, there's a couple different things. First off, back in 2021, we saw a huge gaming rotation and a lot of money piled into the space. Because so much money piled in the space, it did a couple different things. For one, a lot of different games got funded. For two, it attracted a lot of like AAA talent or just really talented actual game designers to come into the space, seeing how much of a cash grab it was to start building. Those two things meant that we had a lot of game development starting at that period in 2021. Now, the games back in 2021 were horrendous. They were basically what could you get to market as quick as possible, and a lot of them were like the most basic game concept possible, just as like a cash grab. And that's why a lot of people hated it, is because it was more of a cash grab than anything else, and it just left a really bad taste in people's mouth. But since then, for one, we've learned a lot of lessons about what doesn't work in crypto gaming. But also we've had like years. I mean, that's 2021, 2022. I mean, we've had 4 years of game development, right? So I don't know how I had to count that. We had 4 years of game development since then. And
yeah, for someone that does a lot of trading, you can't count to four.
Why I'm talking, we've had 4 years of game development and some really talented teams come into the space and build some amazing games. You have games like Shrapnel, looks really amazing. Games like Off the Grid. You have a lot of these like maybe not AAA style games, but like they could be massive money makers, right? Like Clash of Clans was a mobile game, but that thing is raked in cash. And so you have all these cool concepts coming to market. And so on one front, I see the innovation that's happened in that space. And you're talking about hundreds, if not maybe over 1,000 games coming to market. And all you need is one of those games to be a breakout hit to cause a rotation into the crypto gaming sector. It works the same way with anything, right? Like you have one AI crypto token that pops off, and then suddenly everyone's like, what's going to be the next AI crypto token? And then like they flood into it. One meme coin's like skyrocketing, catches everyone's attention. What's going to be the next meme coin? People flood into it. Same thing. One crypto gaming project pops off. What's going to be the next one? And then they flood into it. But also that's going to be the point that people start to finally look around and be like, wow, there's some really amazing games in this space. Because literally all like people, the only thing they remember is like Axie Infinity and then a bunch of Ponzi's. They have no idea about these new games. Like in crypto, the most crypto investors have no idea about most of these games. So on one front, that's what I see. But I have a backup argument, right? So let's say none of this happened. We didn't actually have epic games coming to market.
There's no good games. Zero.
Yeah. It's still all of a Ponzi kind of nonsense. I still think crypto gaming would take off just based off of human psychology and how people operate, which is when we enter a late stage bull market, when it's like later in the bull market, people made a ton of money from Bitcoin. They made a ton of money from, Solana, ETH and all that kind of stuff. And they've worked their way down the stack and they're feeling rich. They have a lot of money. They like to speculate. And they like to speculate on things that haven't popped off because they've missed out on those things, or maybe they've already made money on those things. They don't think they're going to go up. And so they'll look at like things like gaming assets, NFTs, land, like really stupid stuff. But it's like they're getting desperate because there's not a lot of opportunities left, right? And so they start bidding up these assets. They start buying them, thinking, maybe these will go up. I don't really care. It's just a little bit of extra cash, but it's like so much cash because they've made so much money. And because the value of these things goes up, you see players, especially in like third world countries like Philippines, whatever, they're looking around. They're like, oh my gosh, if I play this game for a week, I can make more than I make in a month. And so players flood these games. And then that causes the metrics to go through the roof and people to be like, look at these things are taking off. So then more speculators come in, they bid up the assets even further, more players flood into the game. And it's kind of this reflexive loop that causes the whole thing to just skyrocket up. So either way you look at it, there's a solid case for why crypto gaming is going to absolutely take off. I definitely sit firmly in the camp that it's going to be both those things, but the innovation is going to really capture people's attention. And we're going to actually, at some point in crypto gaming, is going to become less of a novel thing like what we've seen in the past and more of a mainstream thing where we're going to see real AAA games that people love that are crypto games. And all that means is that people are going to own their own assets. They're going to have in-game economies that are actually of value. And there are going to be people as a full-time job that play these games, that farm these economies and make more money than they're going to be like YouTubers. They're going to be like the Jake Pauls of the world. They're going to be living in mansions and they're going to be like, what do you do? You know, that guy that rolls up to people in their car.
I play Raven Quest.
Yeah. They're like, I play Raven Quest. I'm a level 100 wizard. And, I've been I have a farm. I have like 10 farms and, I farm wheat and I'm the number one wheat exporter in that game or whatever. Something like that. And we're heading there. It's one of the best use cases for crypto, period. And especially in an AI future, people are going to have to figure out things to do that aren't maybe crucial things to do in society. And you know what we don't want more of in video games? We don't want more of AI. We don't want, in one way, maybe like AI, our NPCs and stuff like that. But you don't want to go, when it comes to like competitions in Fortnite, maybe you don't want to be playing against AI, right? You don't want to like the World Cup's not like you versus some AIs. It's going to be humans versus humans.
Me versus a bunch of AI agents.
And in the same way, I think you're going to have these game economies that are going to be AI NPCs, but like the players and the money and all that stuff's going to be made by humans. And it's going to be one of those places where people go to kind of like escape reality. They're going to be making tons of money. I'm so bullish about crypto gaming. And I think people are short-sighted. They're basing too much on what they have seen, not on what is coming, which is going to be amazing.
I want to ask here another question on a little follow-up on what you've talked about. I think the onboarding of people to play these games, I think, is inevitable. I think the games have gotten a lot better since 2021. Even since last year, we're seeing better and better quality games either out that people can try out in beta, alpha, or that are close to fully releasing for the masses. The question that I have here, though, is that onboarding into gaming is very different than onboarding to any other aspect in crypto. A lot of times when you want to onboard someone to a DeFi application or a DePIN thing or something other like AI, they have to, if onboarding for them is buying into something, buying a crypto asset, buying a token, buying an NFT, with gaming, onboarding is not necessarily having anything to do with crypto. And we're seeing that more and more as we're reaching these like Web 2.5 games. Onboarding is like, hey, they downloaded it on Epic, gave it a try, and they played for a couple hours. That person is onboarded. They necessarily never touch the crypto side of things. How do you see, where's the argument to that? Like, hey, what if we onboard a bunch of players, but nobody's actually touching the crypto because they're just trying to play a fun game?
There's already games today where assets have sold for like over $1 million. Like I think it's EVE Online. We've seen that. Some of these PC games, you have assets that sell for like $100,000 plus. So it already exists with things like the Steam store and all of that. The problem is the value is not fully unlocked because you need really strong property rights to unlock like deep value, right? So, for example, I mean, I was just talking about this this morning. If you go to certain countries that have weak property rights, those countries tend to be like third world countries because the foundation of like capitalism is strong property rights. And you need strong property rights in a country in order to unlock a lot of the value in that country. You also need like strong laws and regulations, and you can't have like this like sort of like underground market economy running. But alongside that, also, if you look at something like Bitcoin is people call it they call it a spreadsheet in the cloud. Like that was one of the early criticisms is like Bitcoin's just a spreadsheet. And there is some truth to that. Like it is just a giant ledger. So why does this ledger maintain so much value? For example, if I had a Excel spreadsheet out and I was like, okay, this is Jesse bucks and Caesar, you got 100 of them. Matt, you got 200 of them. I got 1 million of them. Everyone needs to accept this as a form of currency and I'm rich. Like that obviously wouldn't work. And even if I could gain some sort of traction somehow by like building a cult following or something, like ultimately my money that I'm controlling would be worthless because you don't really have strong property rights because I can change your property rights at any time. I could say, I don't like you, Matt, anymore. I've just taken all your money and given it to Caesar because Caesar is way cooler and he is growing a beard where you are not growing a beard or like whatever,
I shaved this morning
for whatever reason. Okay, so that's weak property rights. The thing about Bitcoin is it's incredibly neutral and strong property rights. Nobody can rug you. Nobody can take that money away. Nobody owns it. It's permissionless. And that's allowed it to unlock a lot of value. In fact, trillions of dollars of value. You can say the same thing about kind of NFTs in a way, because you have these, it's just JPEGs, but you have property rights. Like there's scarcity there. There's verifiable ownership. And it seems kind of stupid, but some of these things, like the NFT rocks were selling for like $1.3 million. And it's just because you had global access to global liquidity. You could sell it on any of these NFT marketplaces, and you had strong property rights. And so people just don't seem to understand, like, or comprehend, like, strong property rights are like the foundation for value. And so when you come to these gaming assets and in these various games, if you unlock for example, I'm fully sure that in Fortnite today, if you were to unlock it so these skins were sellable on a marketplace, there would be Fortnite skins that sell for, and it was just like on any NFT marketplace, like anyone could farm these things and sell them. There would be NFT Fortnite skins, especially from like season 1, that sell for over $1 million. There'd be at least one. Okay, there'd be at least one. You might say, well, how is that possible? It's just a piece of digital code. Well, there's trading cards like baseball cards and Magic the Gathering cards that sell for over $1 million.
The One Ring. Post Malone,
it's a piece of cardboard.
Whole bunch of money for that.
Yeah, it's a piece of cardboard, and that could get burned down in a fire or whatever. And that's actually a lot harder to sell a piece of cardboard because you got to get graded and stuff than a digital item. So the argument is that like some of these things will have that. I actually think the smartest onboarding mechanism for crypto games is let these things accrue value. And then if people are like, wow, I just earned a $200 sword or whatever, a skin, it's up to them. Do they want to go through all the hard steps of like opening a crypto wallet and listing in a marketplace? I think at a certain price level, it's going to be like, yeah, they'll learn it because it can make $200. So they're going to go learn that. And that's the incentive mechanism to get people on chain, is that like the game should start out, you don't have to do anything on chain. But if you want to take this skin or this item and eventually sell it for $100,000, $10,000, $1,000, whatever, like for different people, it's going to be different levels. There's a level, maybe someone in the Philippines are like, it's $50. That's a lot of money for me. I'm going to go learn how to use a wallet and go sell this thing. That's what's going to onboard people in the crypto space and ultimately cause those things to be worth money and or cause those people to come on chain and kind of build that on chain economy.
I have a follow-up question here, and this is on the idea. I mean, when you're deep in Web3 gaming, and I do like the fact that you call it crypto gaming, I feel like Web3 gaming is really more in the bubble that we're in.
I call it crypto gaming now. I've abandoned it. Sorry, Sam.
But I think a very interesting conversation that is happening all over my timeline is the idea of like what crypto aspects need to be in games to make it successful, to make it Web3 or crypto enough. And I do think it is interesting that you focus a lot on the ownership of these assets and the value accrual that these assets potentially have, because that is one side of like gamers in crypto. They're like, hey, I just want to own my assets. I want to be able to trade them. And that's all I care about. Then there's another side, and maybe more like me and Matthew, that are like, hey, we love DeFi. We love all the things like staking and this and that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to have everything. I want to have a whole game economy that's all on chain. And that's more like Pirate Nation with all the things that they're building on chain. Do you think that just owning the assets will be enough, or will the other side of things, like all the other crypto degen stuff, need to be implemented in some way or form, or is just owning assets enough?
I think owning assets is enough. I think all the experiments are going to be tried. Like on-chain games are really fascinating, and I think there's some experiments that are going to play out there that are going to be like truly just like game-changing and a whole different paradigm shift. But I think that's a little bit further out there. I think right now the most direct, easy to understand thing is player-owned assets. And when players can own assets, again, Fortnite, if they were to just unlock that, I actually think they'd make more money. And I think they're scared to do it because they think it's going to cannibalize their skin sales. But if they did a transaction fee on every single skin that was sold, there's money changing hands. But also, people are going to buy more skins because they're going to speculate on them as collector's items. And also, they can jack up the prices of certain skins. They could be like, "Hey, we're only selling 100 of these, and they're $1,000 or something." Like it'll get out of control. And I don't think they quite realize how much that could get out of control. But I get it. They're a big corporation. They make $4 billion a year selling these skins. They have to be really careful. But somebody's going to do it. I think ultimately an entire in-game economy is where it's going to go. It's going to be like Diablo, and you're going to have this whole in-game economy. Everything's going to be sellable and on-chain, and there's going to be people that it's their full-time job living in that world and collecting these things. And like, what is the difference between if you go, if you're real life Indiana Jones, like what are the odds you like raid some temple and actually find a $2 million stone or whatever? But in these games, you will actually be able to go raid a temple and find a $2 million skin that you can sell. There will be people that like, I am Indiana Jones. It's just in the virtual world, not in the physical world. And I make just as much money as him because I'm really that good at playing Diablo 4 or, whatever it is. And so, yeah, I think the full economy is where we're going. And once we have that, everyone's going to be like, I got to build a full economy because look at, this thing has more GBD than most countries, right? Like, this is like a bigger economy than, most of the EU or something. I think that's going to happen where you're going to have like in-game economies that eclipse major countries. And everyone's going to want a piece of that because it's like, you're literally creating a world at that point. You're literally creating like your own nation that you rule with an iron fist that has like millions and millions of dollars flowing through it. It's going to be amazing and terrifying and awesome and just super fun. I'm actually really pumped for this.
On that, I think right now, like in the Web3 gaming bubble, Caesar called it that a minute ago. Dude, the last like 3 months, I've only tweeted crypto gaming. I stopped saying Web3 gaming. I don't think regular people know what the frick Web3 is, so I switched back. Sorry, Sam. But in this Web3 gaming bubble, there's a lot of talk right now of like how to take crypto and implement it in a way that normal gamers, that the people that play Fortnite, the people that play Call of Duty, that they would actually get excited about. But I feel like the response from the studios has essentially been, hey, let's get way too timid. It's basically a Web 2.5 game. If we have any crypto unlocked right now, like most of them, not most, maybe that's an exaggeration, a lot of them are just saying they're Web3 games or they're crypto games, but they're not actually doing any crypto at all. It's just talking about when they're going to do it eventually. And then of the ones that are doing it, a bunch of them, the only thing they're doing is, hey, you can own these skins. And yes, maybe that's just a product of me being like, we've been here for so long that I'm bored. I'm like, I need more than that. But no one else has seen that yet. So maybe we need to allow them to see that first. But I've specifically heard you talk about like types of games crypto users would go crazy for. Like you said last week, you told me, dude, I just know, like, I know I could make a game that crypto trader, like degens would be so excited about. What type of like just general, don't leak your ideas if you're going to launch a game someday, but like what types of genre or style or things do you think that like the crypto side of people would actually like? And do you think that that's too obscure, too wild to go mainstream?
Yeah. Okay. So in crypto gaming, there is a huge divergence that you're kind of mentioning, which is like a lot of these games are made for actual gamers. In crypto as a whole, there's like certain apps that have like Wi-Fi is one of those apps. It has millions of users. I've used it when I travel. I used Wi-Fi. It was amazing. But the Wi-Fi token, nobody knows. It's like sub $10 million.
Or it's like the sweat coin, bro. I use the sweat coin app all the time, and they have they're like top 5 end users of any apps in all of crypto, and their token is worth nothing right now
because it taps into like it's a great product, but it doesn't tap into like the culture of crypto, and so it kind of gets kind of passed by. And so I think a lot of these crypto games can suffer from that, where they're like, and ultimately, if they're successful enough, it won't matter. Ultimately, like it's not like some of these big PC games that EVE Online or whatever have had to tap into crypto to build these crazy economies. They just built a crazy good game, and that takes a long time to build that. It's not like Diablo does have a pretty decent economy. It's different because you don't have some of these things that that we're talking about. But players do farm this game and play it just for for some of these items and building out their loadouts and stuff like that. So if you build a good enough game that's got enough recognition, you still could do this outside of crypto. But to tap into all the money, the liquidity of crypto, you do need to hit on certain like narratives or things that are important to crypto people. I mentioned I have a friend. He launched a game. He did a Farcaster native, and got them all involved. He's making like 150K a month from his like game nobody knows about. You've never heard of it, never talk about it. His token went to like $10 million in market cap. And it's literally a game where like it's like the simplest game. You just like tap to like stoke your fire, and you like either farm, chop wood or farm or whatever. It's like very, very simple game. It's like literally you click some buttons and that's it. But it taps into like the mimetic nature of crypto, which in crypto everyone wants to speculate on something. And so if you want your game to do well, you have to introduce some form of speculation and tap into kind of some of the more mimetic narratives. Think of like, I actually kind of think meme coin launchpads are almost like a game. I think the AI agent meta is almost like a game. And so I think if you leaned more into the gaming, actually the team behind Virtuals, they were a gaming studio, and they pivoted to Virtuals. But again, it's more like a game. Like as you unlock certain followings, like your token unlocks utility and stuff like that. It's got a lot of game mechanics built into it. So introducing some way of speculating, maybe some sort of tokenization that catches people's attention. That's how gaming studios would get more attention. And then having a token and not doing horrible tokenomics on it is another way. One of the problems that you've seen with a lot of these gaming tokens,
so many are so bad.
Yeah, they're way high FTV. They do really kind of stupid airdrop things that, yesterday's meta, and they don't know how to like kind of prime that token for like momentum. Because if your token's doing really well, that brings gamers. That's going to bring attention. Like if your token went from like $1 million in market cap to like 100 million, people are paying attention. Everyone's talking about you on podcasts and YouTube, etc. And people are coming and checking out your game. And so doing that right, I think, is also important.
Go ahead, Caesar. I have another question here, and this is also another like big thing that's being talked about right now, because in gaming right now, in crypto gaming, we're starting to see more and more of this specific sector. There's like the games that started in crypto. They were born and raised in crypto. They have all the crypto mechanics in it, and they're trying to make it work. They're trying to make a fun game that will bring a lot of gamers to come play. But then we're starting to see the other side. I know we have Maple Story Universe that has been around for 20 years, and now they're coming to bring a Web3 specific product to have like a whole in-game economy. We see Tibia just announced another huge MMORPG that's been around for 20 years, and now it's like, hey, we want to bring in crypto mechanics because we see how it can bring value to the gamers. Do you think it will take maybe web or games that have been around forever, maybe like a Fortnite, saying, hey, we're going to embrace crypto and we're going to start allowing people to trade assets, to bring in that speculation to the other ones? Or will it need to be an in-game bred or like a crypto native game,
crypto game,
to
like
go ahead and
Nation
tell other people like, hey, this is possible?
I don't know which one it'll be, but you only need one doing well. So you need, if one crypto game went to $1 billion in market cap, 10 billion in market cap, just like it ran up in price, it's catching everyone's attention. That's all you need for everyone to be like, what the heck's Nyan Heroes? Actually, this is a really fun, this one's going high, guys. This one's going to be the next one. I'm investing in this. Or, what the heck's Raven Quest?
It's going to be the next one because it's taking off. So then everyone,
Exactly. And that's when they
ride
start
narratives. They ride waves.
But crypto gaming is not a narrative. So honestly, if I was a crypto game and I would follow the Parallels, playbook, which is like, they did a really good, they went to over almost $1 billion in market cap in the bear market, and they're just a trading card game. How did they do it? They tapped into the AI narrative. And so they're like, we're not just a gaming company. We're now AI. I mean, again, Virtuals was a gaming company too, and they tapped into the AI narrative as well. So, we launched AI agents in games, and boom, your game is now super successful. Like that's basically it. If you throw AI in there, now you're going to be a successful game to crypto people. Now they'll care about it and be like, oh, you're doing something with AI and crypto? I will invest my life savings into you because that sounds good. And that's really how it's going to be right now if you want to catch it, until gaming is some sort of narrative. We almost saw it with Off the Grid. Off the Grid, we almost saw it where like people like finally are like, oh, gaming's about to hit. And then it just like died away pretty quick. So yeah, we need that spark. We need that spark for things to really catch up.
I love it. Last couple minutes of the podcast, I want to hear like your specific top picks, and then maybe versus like some of mine and Caesar's. And the reason I want that is because I was thinking the other day that like, okay, if me, someone who spends 40 plus hours a week in crypto gaming, I'm zoomed in, I'm hyper focused. So maybe what I think is, oh, this is an excellent game, is going to be way different than what someone who is actively like just researching and buying and trading things from other sectors of crypto. Maybe your picks are going to be way different than mine. And that should actually be like a warning to me as someone who's in this space that wants to make money in this space, because when all the money starts flowing in, it might not flow in to the cool games that I'm looking at. It might just flow into things that you guys are paying attention to. So I'm curious, like some of your top, maybe top games that you're paying attention to.
Top games I'm paying attention to. Okay. And
I want to hear like top games and top narratives.
Top narratives is going to be anything with AI. I like SoulForge Fusion. I mean, that one but it's because it has a narrative. X creator of Magic the Gathering. I think that's a pretty powerful narrative. You saw Gaming Rotation, that one takes off. I like Una. Una is because if you saw crypto gaming take off, they're ex Ubisoft devs. And so I think people are going to be like, oh, like a lot of the crypto people aren't going to play the games. They're just going to be like, these guys are ex Ubisoft devs. They're like super goated. These guys are gonna do really good, and they're gonna throw money into it. And
Funny,
it's just so
that's
small
not on
today.
our list. So that's one that's not on my list for like Web3 gaming.
That one's super small. I mean, I have like Immutable is like a position for like maybe more of a blue chipish. Like think of it, it's not XRP or anything, but like think of it as kind of like a well-known like high mind share in the crypto space for like this crypto gaming Immutable. Same thing with Ronin.
Do you think Immutable has the capacity to go up that much more than it does versus so like, and I won't say what they are yet, but I wrote down 6 chains when I wrote down top chains, and I don't have Immutable on that list. Part of it is because it's so high. Part of it is because there's some negative perception in the like Web3 hive mind.
Yeah, Immutable is more of a just again high mindshare play. Like I actually put funds in there when I don't know what I want to put them in crypto gaming to be like if crypto gaming goes up, this goes up kind of relative. Think of it like if you're going to put funds in Bitcoin before you invest in alts, it's kind of like that. And then I sell off my Immutable position to invest into various things. And then I have Ronin, but I do think it could go higher. I mean, it's 2 million market cap. I mean, XRP went to 2 billion. XRP went to 200 billion. I mean, like literally anything's possible if you believe at this point.
But the question is, do enough people believe? I don't know. Maybe it's maybe it's like negative. I think people get a bias really quick in Web3 gaming.
Yes,
and they are not the golden child right now.
If in crypto land, if everyone decided to get bullish on crypto gaming today, one of the ones that everyone knows is Immutable, and they're going to put a little bit of money in it. Like it's just like Bitcoin or XRP or one of those things where it's like everyone knows about it. It might not have the best games or this or that. Like I don't know. They have like a couple hundred games they're releasing, and I think Raven Quest is one of theirs. But
they went to quantity, and that's where the negative mindshare comes from. Is they went quantity over quality. There's hundreds of games, and I could name like less than 5 that I'm interested in playing.
Yeah. But if they have one pop off, that's all they need, to be honest.
Yeah.
They literally only need if one of their games was insanely popular, then boom, they're doing good.
And that'll probably be Raven Quest.
I had Trap. That one has not done well. I've talked to you about that.
Yeah, you bought over 100 million market cap, right?
No, I don't think I bought over 100 million, but I bought maybe what is it at? Maybe fully diluted for sure. But yeah, no, that one has not done well. I think I bought closer to like 60 million in market cap, and that one has not done well. And then Ori is just like a Solana kind of like Pokemon-like game.
What is it?
Ori.
I've never even heard of it.
It literally looks just like Pokemon on Solana. And I got this one back when Solana was first popping off, and I was like, okay, if people are looking for Solana beta, this is a pretty good Solana beta. That one hasn't done very well either. But those were low conviction. Like I didn't put a ton in Strap. I didn't put a ton in Ori. I put a ton originally in Immutable. That position's actually done really well since then. But it's not like a high conviction, like, I think all of crypto gaming, that's going to do well. I'm really struggling. I think the only ones I have like played in size have been SFG and Una. And those ones have both done really, really, really well so far. But it's because they were so small. They've gone up. I'm always looking. I've looked at 9 Heroes. I don't like how high their FTV is and they're like tokenomics.
I mean, Caesar and I were talking about that one this last week, that to me, 9 Heroes is like personally my own opinions, because my genre bias, like easily a top 10 most fun game in the space.
Exactly.
And almost nobody in Web3 gaming is happy with them right now. I just saw 2 tier lists from reputable creators in the last week that had them in the dead category. And it just comes down to the way that they've navigated the crypto side of things. I
want to get guns when it comes out, depending on what it launches at. I think that's a really good one. And again, depending on their FTV and stuff like that. But I'm curious to hear which ones you guys are pretty pumped about right now.
I mean, well, some of those questions. So yours like, hey, narrative, gaming, and AI. So I'd say like gaming and AI, ones that I'm bullish about would be like easy is Parallel. You mentioned Parallel. That's an easy gaming and AI. I would say Shatterline or anything connected to the Faraway.
Does Shatterline have a token?
Not yet.
Okay.
But you can get tokens from their ecosystem that are all connected. So we actually just released an episode today with Faraway's CEO. So Faraway is a game studio that they have rights to tons of different games from tons of different genres. They're launching F-Chain, a layer 1 on AVAX. Their F token will be live right now, just their AI agents that will integrate with actual gameplay and stuff. Those are tradable right now. Jeff is tradable. Rift isn't tradable yet, huh, Caesar?
No, but it's going to launch.
Is Jeff the only one that's tradable, and then it's just the NFTs?
Yeah, Jeff is tradable, and the heavy metals.
What's this
are
called?
tradable.
Farcoin?
Far away.
Far away.
Far away.
That one is
They
well
work with
worth
Yuga
looking at.
Labs
To
and
me,
stuff.
that's a top brass for this cycle, but their main token is not live yet, and they're gonna have multiple tokens moving around with each other because they've got games under them that will have their own tokens. I would say another one with AI that I'm bullish on that is probably not widely talked about yet is Providence. Their token will be launching Q1 of this year. They're tapping into AI specifically with like you'll have the main game, which is pretty fun. We play it weekly, extraction space shooter, and then they'll have like a mobile game that you can create and like train and work with your little AI drone guy that is technically an NFT that then can come into the game with you if it's linked to your game. Like I can play the mobile game and make him better and then go get on my PC and drop into the world and he's flying over my shoulder helping me out. And then I can sell that to people once I get it really good from training it in the right things. So there will be AI directly integrated with the game. Farcade, I told you about them. I am very bullish on it's not just like a game. They're using AI to create games.
What about any that currently have a token?
Current token with AI.
Oh,
Or it doesn't
well,
even
the
have to have
Shadowland
AI. Just
ecosystem far away. You can definitely
Shadowland,
check
you
out.
can invest in the ecosystem. You just can't buy their token right now.
Wagme Games actually just announced that they're using AI agents. They're creating a swarm of AI agents in a pretty interesting way, not like a lot of these other games, is they're using it in order to create agents that will go out and talk about Wagme Games in different ways, create content for them, and like speak in different, like reply to people. Pretty much just having like KOLs that are AI agents.
And I would have
working for
Wagme
them
like
in a
on
swarm.
my one of the narratives would be like mobile gaming. I would put Wagme in my like top 3 mobile games for crypto.
Wagme is like 16 million market cap.
So what I like about them outside of their team is the game is a pretty good real-time defense mobile game. It's not super complex. It's literally just meant to be played on your phone. But their world is pretty cool. They're working directly with like ex-Marvel guys. Their comics. They are creating a full like anime TV show that is being developed. I've seen some of their trailers. They're doing the toys route as well that Pudgy did. Like they're going like collectibles. Their team is like really big in the like the Comic-Con world. Like they're connected there, and so it won't just be like a mobile game. It'll be a whole world of Wagme. Their pitch is like crypto's gaming's first universe or something like that, where the game is like a piece of the puzzle, but the token is connected to all of it.
Okay, I like that.
But if you want more, like these are like my top. I think Moonray is definitely slept on just because they're more like traditional route, but they're going to be the second game on PlayStation. They already have other
This like super small $2 million market cap one.
Moonray.
Moonray's tiny.
Yeah, Moonray is tiny. They just launched last month, and they're just starting to pump out a lot of this stuff. Their NFTs will have like they'll get drip fed tokens and things like that. So they still have a lot of their roadmap ahead, and 2025 is going to be a big year for them. I would also look at Wildcard, made by the founder of Word with Friends. It's another awesome game.
Paul
another
made
awesome game.
Too.
They
but
have
that one
like
doesn't have a coin yet.
No, that'll be Q1 or 2.
But their Wild Pass NFTs are like half an ETH right now, but they will have like pretty much all the value accrual from the game and their ecosystem that they have will go to those. They even just came out with Thousands TV, which is like a Twitch-like platform where games will actually be able to integrate awesome things like
Wildcard. I've played this game.
Yeah, Wildcard is pretty cool.
Wait, there's no way you've played it.
I played it at in Florida.
Oh yeah,
when you went
that's
to
right.
Miami.
You went to the house.
So you met Katie. So Katie is the co-CEO.
Yeah, that was a fun game. There's like more.
Paul and Katie are like the married duo that run Wildcard, and they're some of the coolest people in crypto gaming.
I liked it. I did like it. They're going a little bit different route where their games weren't as like crypto. They didn't have like any assets or anything like that you were trading in the game. It was it was like
nothing besides the Wild Pass is live yet. Yeah. So that's an early one.
Fableborn is another one to check out.
A lot of the games right now, so many of them have not had the TGE yet. Like you're buying their NFTs if you want exposure. And
that's what I want. I want the TG. I want the ones with Moonray. What do you do in that game, Caesar? Why do you like it?
I mean, I love it, dude. I've been playing it constantly for the last 6 months. It's I don't know if you've heard of Naraka. It's a hack and slash PvP. So it's like Dark Souls, but if you were playing against other people, and you'll
And
have
it's
like these
actually
maps.
fun. Like you actually
Yeah,
love this game.
yeah. I actually play it a lot. I play it like multiple times a week. Like they have game nights and stuff, and I really
And you
like their
said
team
this
over
going to be
there.
on PlayStation?
Yeah, they're gonna be the second game on
Off
PlayStation.
the Grid was the first crypto game to make it to console. They've already got their PlayStation like onboarding
And they'll
process
have some
going.
stuff with Sonium, which is Sony's chain. So they have they've announced some stuff, partnerships with Sonium and things like that.
Okay. I like this. See, this is good. I'm getting some good. Oh, I'm following them on Twitter. Why am I already following them? Maybe you told
I
me
might
about
have told
them.
you about them before.
Yeah, I might have seen, or I don't know. But this is
Pixel.
cool.
So Pixels is another one that I would say bullish on.
That one's big though. That one's big already. That's
But
running.
I think they're probably if people want a play to earn game this cycle, they're the Axie of this cycle. Like that people from, you mentioned the Philippines, that like, okay, I could go play and earn
they all
now.
play Pixels.
That's Pixel.
And
Not a
that's
lot
what they're
of
trying to
games
solve.
have earning implemented outside of airdrops, and that's never clear what you're going to make. Like Pixel, you could actually sit down and gauge like, okay, so if I committed X amount of time, how much could I make? You can't do that with the airdrops. So I think Pixel will be, if they run it well, they're like the play and earn of this cycle.
And
I
their
think
CEO
Spellborn
told us when we had him that like, hey, what we're trying to figure out is how to make play to earn sustainable. And if they figure that out and they come up with a really good formula, that just helps out the entire space. So they're taking on a pretty big mission, but if they're able to do it, I mean,
Spellborn is one that I really am excited about. You were talking about like interesting ways to experiment with crypto in a game. They're doing like imagine virtuals where you've got like the virtual token and then you've got people launching their own things inside of it. So they're going to have like the Born token, but under that, guilds will be able to launch their own guild tokens that they could basically build their own brands and companies inside of the game world. It's
is it kind of like Pokemon? Like
it's
a Pokemon,
but an MMO, pretty much. And
Dude,
it's
I
actually
like that.
fun. Like I've played it a bit. I think it's one of the better graphics of like the pixel games in the space right now. It is fun. The battling is fun. It's very Pokemon-esque. But imagine like, okay, so 100x launches a guild, then 100x could launch their guild token that they can incentivize X, Y, and Z with it. And then it can interact with the Born token in this way. And you might have, by the end of 2025, you might have 50 tokens in that economy all underneath the one Born token.
But they don't have a token yet.
That's another Q. Did they say Q1 when we had them on the podcast?
I believe so. But if you buy their apartment, they haven't taken the snapshot yet, which is the speculation.
So
Caesar
and I both bought their apartment NFTs. They're not super expensive, and that is a direct airdrop for the token.
Okay. All right, cool. I mean, this is great. Hey, I do gotta run to that meeting.
And I would say chains. Bro. AVAX, Ronin, Zai, Treasure, Far Away, Abstract. That's where I'm, and not because Immutable is bad, because Immutable is huge. Like I see like what, a 2x with Immutable at this point, where some of those could, AVAX is probably in a similar boat where it's like, it's hard to massively grow. But I think Ronin, Zai, Treasure, Far Away, Abstract are the ones that I expect like, hey, you could 5x or more on a chain. And that's not going to happen in most other chains. So that would be my other. Cool. This has been fun. You heard it here from Jesse himself. This is why he is, as a DeFi guy, paying attention to gaming as a narrative. This has been sweet, dude. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on.
See you guys on 100x next time.